Yo, what's up, guys? Massive 2 points for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, guys. Defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3 in overtime, guys. And, guys, what can we say? This was the Matthew Knies show tonight. What a performance by Matthew Knies. He absolutely haunts the Tampa Bay Lightning at Amalie Arena, guys. This kid has been absolutely incredible in that rink, guys. My God, this guy in 9 games played against the Lightning, 10 goals. Unbelievable, guys. Like 16 points in 10 games. You know, this guy's got like a plus 15 against Tampa. Like, absolutely incredible how one player can go into a rink and dominate like that. Just an incredible performance today by Knies. You know, he was all over it tonight, guys. You know, Marner starts the game off with a beautiful snipe, not even like 30 seconds in. You know, then Knies gets a goal to make it 2-0 early on. The Leafs were in full control. Then John Tavares takes a stupid tripping penalty. You know, Tampa Bay hits 3 posts. The Leafs got a little bit lucky, guys. I felt that they were able to go into that period the way it was, intermission, you know, only being up 2-1. So, you know, so the Leafs got a little bit lucky, of course, guys. You know, a lot of posts. You know, Tampa Bay really started to push the Maple Leafs in the second period, I felt. You know, they were the way better team. You know, had some great opportunities. I felt Stolarz played great in this game, made some really big saves, of course, you know, especially with the playoffs coming around the corner. He's been playing really well as of late, so really good signs by Stolarz playing well. You know, Knies had a massive game. Now, in times of this game, you know, it wasn't pretty. Of course, the Maple Leafs didn't have their best performance tonight, but, you know, guys, listen, the Leafs found a way to win, get 2 points, you know, have a 3-point cushion atop the Atlantic. That's what we want from the Maple Leafs. Now, obviously, we want the Maple Leafs to obviously show more aggression at times. Obviously, Matthew Knies, who showed a lot of balls, saying the team didn't show enough aggression against Florida last night, you know, not doing what they were supposed to do. And this is what I love about this kid, guys. You know, he actually has the nuts to go in the media, say that the team did not have the right game plan going into a game, and then he comes out and scores a bloody hat trick. I bloody love this kid's attitude, his mindset. They absolutely got to get this kid signed to a long-term deal, guys, you know. And obviously, there are some people, and I agree with them saying this, if Mitch Marner's gone, we got to give Knies that money, and it's very evident that they're going to have to pay Knies. You know, obviously with the cap going up and everything, you can probably pay Marner, but is it worth it? You know, you got to make sure you keep this kid locked up for the next 8 years because he is an absolutely vital piece. And look what he does, guys. 175 plus hits, you know, almost 30 goals. Like, it's only his second full year in the bloody league. This kid's only going to get better. You know, and we have to absolutely lock him up, guys. We all know how vital he is. You know, we saw it tonight. We've seen it in the past. He is absolutely huge. You know, we see him getting into fights and beaking at Chernak in the box. That was absolutely great to see. You know, these are the type of players I want in my hockey team. And then you got guys like Morgan Rielly, who I'm like, these are the type of guys I don't want in my team. You know, overpaid defensemen making costly mistakes, especially in overtime. You know, Rielly with that horrendous play. Like, absolutely incredible. He had that one play in Florida last night, the play tonight in Tampa. It's like this guy here has just had a horrendous season. I would not be shedding a tear at all if the Leafs tried to trade Morgan Rielly this offseason. I would absolutely love it, to be honest. You know, you see Morgan Rielly doing shit like that, then you're seeing a guy like Knies, who's oozing with confidence, making passes between his legs. Like, that was incredible to see as well. The amount of confidence he has to make that type of play, guys. So it was really nice to see a player like Knies dominate. You're going to need guys like him to dominate at times, you know, because obviously you're not going to get the core four dominating every game, of course. You know, the players played okay tonight. You know, I thought the Leafs were okay. I felt they could have played better, of course. But listen, guys, you get 2 points. Massive win against Tampa Bay on their home ice. You know, Leafs have their number all year, 4-0 against Tampa this year. You know what I mean, guys? So the Leafs did what they had to do tonight. Get the 2 points, get the hell out of Tampa. You know, you go 1-1 against Tampa and Florida. Listen, guys, it's good for the Leafs to get the 2 points. Obviously, we wish we could have gotten both wins, but with Florida and Ottawa being too close, losing last night wasn't the biggest concern, but tonight was absolutely vital, guys. We all knew tonight the Leafs absolutely needed 2 points. You know, obviously, I saw some people saying this is the biggest regular season game in the Core 4 era, and that could be correct, you know, because if we lost tonight, we'd be probably second in the Atlantic with a matchup against Florida, and we all know that we do not want a matchup with Florida in the first round. I think we can all agree a matchup against Florida is the worst case scenario. Have Tampa and Florida battle it out in the first round. Have the Battle of Ontario in the first round, even though I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. I still would like that matchup, a newer, fresh matchup for the Leafs. Been playing Tampa and Boston all these years, guys. Would like to see a Battle of Ontario. We haven't seen that in a long time, of course. You know, but guys, in this game today, you had some frustrating moments. You had some bright spot moments. You know, with the playoffs around the corner, that's what you want to see. You want to see the Leafs accumulate as much points as possible. Win the Atlantic. They're almost close to doing that. If they can beat Montreal on Saturday, I think that pretty much clinches it. So with a Tampa loss, so that would absolutely be big for the Leafs, guys. Clinch first the Atlantic. Great win tonight against the Lightning. Spectacular performance for Matthew Knies. Austin Matthews has some chances. You know, we saw John Tavares get high stick for that double minor. Knies on that second goal. That was my favorite, probably my favorite goal of the game was that second goal. Knies in front of the net there. His presence in front of the net is just, he's only getting better, guys. He is becoming such a dominating force, Matthew Knies. He's only going to get better on top of it too, guys. So the performance tonight by Knies was spectacular. Team gets the 2 points. That's all you can ask for, guys. Good performance by the Maple Leafs tonight. At points in this game, not the best 60-minute performance, but obviously the Leafs can improve, you know, but this is the type of game you want to see the Leafs win. You know, the Leafs are like 24-4 with a 1-goal record, guys. That's how you're going to win games in the playoff, guys, by winning games by 1 goal, shutting it down defensively. You know, obviously the Leafs had a couple leads that they blew. You can't be blowing those leads in the playoffs. But like I said, guys, they found a way to win tonight. That's the most important thing. You know, you got Tampa's number all year. That's great to see as well. But when the playoffs come around the corner, guys, regular season shit don't matter no more. It's all about what's going to happen in the playoffs. I think we all know that. But let's see what happens, guys, against Montreal on Saturday. Important game. Montreal's one of the hottest teams in the league. They've won 6 in a row, I'm pretty sure. You know, they got a 7-point gap in the wildcard spot on the Rangers. So, you know, the Montreal's going to want to beat the Leafs. The Leafs better have that same mindset. Trying to beat Montreal. Try to get the division wrapped up. And let's see who we play in the playoffs, guys. But really good job by the Maple Leafs to get the 2 points. Obviously, not the best performance, but getting the 2 points is all that matters, guys. A 3-point gap in the division is massive for the Maple Leafs, guys. The Leafs are in a great position right now, guys. Let's just hope they can finish it off and get into the playoffs, and we'll see what happens then, guys. But, guys, that's it for this video today. Thank you very much for watching, as always, guys. And I will say one more thing, guys. The referees tonight were an absolute joke on top of it all. With that play with Bobby McMahon and Braden Point awarding Tampa Bay with that extra power play was an absolute joke. We all know the referees are a joke, guys. I understand. There's just no point in time about the referees. We know that they can be shambolic at times. It was an absolute pathetic thing to see at the professional level like this, guys. But let's just move on from it because we got the 2 points. And that's it for this video today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, go Leafs, go, guys. And remember, if you do not watch sports, you're more. Ciao, guys.